can't take him! He's mine! I forbid this sale!
Sir, control yourself. The debt must be paid.
Tight. The auctioneer lifted both hands. Sir, this isn't how it works. A man in the front row muttered, "Put the kid down." The father laughed, a wet sound. You want her, you bid. Someone said, Jesus. Someone else said, this is wrong. The father stumbled and the baby slipped, not far, caught against his chest, then slid again. Careful, the auctioneer said. You drop her, we're done. The father leaned forward anyway. Start it, he said. Start the numbers. The room pressed in. Boots scuffed. A woman near the wall covered her mouth. He's drunk, she said. The father heard it and snapped back. You drunk too, he said. Everybody drunk when money's on the table. The auctioneer tried again. Sir, we can't sell a child. The father shrugged. Then call it charity, he said. Call it whatever keeps me breathing. The baby cried harder. A man yelled, someone take her. Another voice, older, said, Sheriff ought to be here. The father grinned. Sheriff don't come to this barn, he said. Sheriff don't like auctions. The auctioneer cleared his throat. $5, he said, weak, just to stop it. Silence. 10. A chair creaked. This is sick, a woman said. The father shook the baby once, not hard, just enough. Hear that, he said. She don't like waiting. Stop, someone said. Put her down. The father leaned closer to the ring. 20, he said for them. I'll take 20. No one moved. Shame sat heavy. The baby's cry cut through it. The auctioneer swallowed. Sir, please. The father's arm wobbled again and the baby slipped from his grip, a short fall, caught by the rail, then dangling. Gasps burst. Oh my God. Grab her. The father fumbled, missed, grabbed cloth. The baby screamed like pain. A hand came up from the edge of the ring, steady, plain. The cowboy lifted the baby without rushing. He held her close and she quieted, just like that. The room went still. The father stared. Hey, he said. That's mine. The auctioneer said nothing. A woman whispered, look at her. The cowboy didn't look at anyone. He adjusted the baby's head and waited. The father swayed. Put her back, he said. We ain't done. A man said, you are. The father laughed again. You gonna pay? He asked the cowboy. The cowboy's voice came low. Yes. How much? The auctioneer asked, quick, afraid of the answer. The cowboy didn't blink. Enough. The father stepped forward and missed his footing. You hear that, he said. Enough ain't a number. The cowboy looked at the auctioneer. End it. A murmur rose. End it. Do it. The auctioneer nodded once. Sold, he said, not loud. The father reached, too slow. No, he said. I didn't say. The cowboy turned away. The baby breathed against his shirt, calm. A woman started crying. Thank you, she said to no one. People shifted like the air had changed. Someone cleared a throat. Who is he? A boy whispered. An older man answered, doesn't matter. The auctioneer wiped his face. Take care, he said. The cowboy gave a nod and kept moving, the baby still, her eyes closed, fingers loose, trusting the hold she had found. The father grabbed the rail and slid down it, his knees giving out. He hit the dirt and stayed there, hands empty, eyes wet, mouth moving without sound. The auctioneer stepped back. Someone put a coat over the father's shoulders. The cowboy walked past the ring, the baby secure, his boots steady. No one stopped him. No one spoke. The barn held its breath as he passed through the door. He stepped into the yard with the baby tucked against his chest, the barn door still swinging behind him. Voices followed, low and sharp. "You can't just take her. Someone call it in." He didn't even name a price. He kept walking. Gravel shifted under his boots. The baby's breath warmed his shirt. She was quiet now, eyes half open, watching nothing. A woman hurried after him, coat flapping. "Wait," she said. "Cowboy." He didn't stop. "You don't know him," she said. "You don't know what comes with that." He kept his pace. "You hear me?" she pressed. "That man will come back." He said nothing. "The sheriff will ask questions." Silence. "The land asks questions," she said, trying again. He adjusted the baby's head and kept walking. 2 men by the fence watched him pass. "That him," one said. "Looks like it." "Thought he left." "He did." The woman caught up, breath short. "You got a name?" she asked. He didn't answer. "She got one," the woman said, softer. "They'll want it." He looked down at the baby and then ahead. The woman slowed, frustrated. "You don't just take a child," she said. He finally spoke. "I did." They reached the truck. Old paint, clean cab. He opened the passenger door and set the baby on the seat, careful, steady. She blinked and made a small sound that wasn't a cry. The woman leaned in. "She's not scared," she said. He nodded once. "She knows," the woman said. "Knows what?" He closed the door halfway. "That she's held." A younger man stepped forward, voice tight. "You paying her bills now?" he asked. "You raising her?" The cowboy looked at him. "I'm stopping her fall." The man scoffed. "You can't fix blood." "I can stop the bleeding," the cowboy said. The younger man looked away. "You'll bring trouble," he said. "It was already here," the cowboy said. Someone shouted from the barn. "You paying?" He ignored it. Another voice said, "That's him." A third said, "Leave it." The woman touched the truck bed. "You don't owe anyone," she said. "But they'll say you do." He checked the latch. "They always do." The woman looked at him, searching. "You used to be different," she said. "No," he said. "I was quiet." The baby stirred and fussed, then settled as he laid a hand on her chest through the glass. The woman watched it happen. "She stopped," she said. "Soon as you touched her." He didn't look up. "You got milk?" she asked. He shook his head. "You got help?" she said. "I'll ask," he said. "Ask who?" she said. He opened the driver's door. "Someone who stays." An older woman near the gate spoke up. "You remember the fire," she said. He paused. "I remember smoke," he said. "Then you know," she said. He nodded once. "Then take her far," the older woman said. He answered, "Far enough." The woman who followed him swallowed. "She'll need a name," she said again. He said, "She'll choose." A man crossed the yard, hat in hand. "You can't keep her out there," he said. "It's cold nights." The cowboy met his eyes. "So is here." The man frowned. "You got history," he said. "So do barns," the cowboy said. The man stepped back. "Just saying," he said. The cowboy climbed in. The woman lingered. "If you hear knocking," she said, "don't open." He started the engine and it coughed once. "If they come with paper," she said, "don't sign." He adjusted the mirror. "If she cries," the woman said, "it won't be for hunger." He put the truck in gear. "What then?" she asked. He looked at the road. "For memory." A final voice called out, unsure. "You coming back?" He answered without turning. No, the yard went quiet, watching him choose the road and keep choosing it, even as eyes followed, even as silence pressed close. The baby yawned and closed her eyes as the engine settled. The woman took a step back. "What do I call you?" she asked. He didn't answer. Gravel popped under the tires. The truck door closed with a sound and the engine turned over, steady and sure. The door clicked shut behind them, and the cowboy carried the baby through the narrow hall of his house, boots heavy on the wooden floorboards. The room smelled of old smoke and dust, of a fire long since cooled, and something else lingered, a quiet that wasn't empty. The baby fussed, a small whimper at first, then louder, reaching for something unseen. He lowered her to his chest, swaying slightly. She stopped, face pressed against his shirt, listening. The walls seemed to breathe, the shadows stretching longer as if waiting for someone else to speak. A knock came from the side window. The cowboy stiffened. "Who's there?" he asked. No answer. The baby stirred in his arms. "Quiet," he said, almost a whisper. The knock came again, louder this time. He set the baby on the table, careful, her tiny hands gripping the edge. She looked at him, wide-eyed, then back at the door. "Stay," he said. Footsteps on the porch, slow and deliberate. He opened the door a crack. A woman stood there, coat damp from the evening air. "I heard crying," she said. "Can't leave a child alone in a house like this." He looked past her. "You shouldn't be here." She leaned against the doorframe. "She's crying." He stepped back. "She's not alone." She glanced at the baby on the table. "She looks alone." "Not really," he said. "She listens." The woman frowned. "Listens to what?" He didn't answer. He crossed his arms. "To what's here," he said. "To what's left." She glanced around, eyes catching the faded wallpaper, the old photographs, some letters stacked in a drawer. "What is this place?" she asked. "Home," he said. "Or what's left of it." The baby started fussing again. He bent and lifted her, rocking slowly. She nuzzled into him, quieting once more. The woman watched, hands folded over her coat. "You take care of her?" she asked. He nodded. "Trying to." She shook her head. "You'll need help." "Don't want it." She stepped closer, looking at the photographs lining the mantel. "That's your family?" He didn't look. "Some of them." She noticed a badge lying flat in the drawer, half hidden under letters. "Was he a sheriff?" she asked. He closed the drawer quietly. "Not anymore." She leaned toward the cold fireplace. "Looks like he's been gone a while." "A long while," he said. The baby kicked softly against him, looking toward the window. "She notices everything," he said. "She does," the woman said. "She knows." He tilted his head. "Knows what?" "Who's safe," she said. The baby yawned, eyes closing for a brief moment before reopening. "She'll sleep when she trusts," he said. "Doesn't trust yet." The woman nodded slowly. "You're patient," she said. "Or stubborn." "Maybe both," he said. The baby stretched tiny arms toward the ceiling, reaching for shadows. He laughed softly. "Reach all you want." "Nothing there'll hurt you," he said. Another knock came, this time louder, at the front door. The woman tensed. "They shouldn't be here," she said. "No," he said. "Not yet." He set the baby down on the rug, fingers brushing her hair, eyes never leaving the door. "Sit," he said. "Stay close." She obeyed, keeping low, hands folded in her lap. The knock came again, 3 sharp beats, uneven, impatient. He opened the door slowly. Nobody. Just the wind. The porch creaked. He stepped out, scanning the yard. "Gone," he said. The woman exhaled. "For now." Back inside, the baby crawled toward a low chair, curious, silent. He followed her, crouching. "Where are you going?" he asked softly. She paused, looking back at him, then toward the letters stacked in the corner. He blocked her gently. Not yet, he said. Soon. The woman studied the room, noting the peeling paint, the heavy drapes, the smell of damp wood. It listens, she said quietly. Everything here listens, he said. She glanced at him. Even the walls? He nodded. Even the walls. The baby crawled back to his side, curling against his chest. Hours passed quietly, shadows moving across the room as if alive. The woman finally spoke again. She's not crying anymore. He rubbed her back slowly. She trusts, he said. For now. She nodded, eyes softening. You'll need more than trust to keep her safe, she said. He looked at her, calm, resolved. I'll keep her, he said. That's enough. Another soft knock echoed from the door, slower this time, deliberate, patient. The baby stirred, sensing it. The woman moved toward the door. I'm going to see, she said. No, he said. Stay. The baby's tiny fingers gripped his shirt. Not yet, he said. The knock stopped. Silence filled the house. He held the baby close, rocking gently in the old armchair. They'll come again, the woman said. They always do. Then they'll wait, he said. I'll be ready. The baby yawned, small and warm against him. The woman looked at him, her eyes filled with questions she wouldn't speak aloud. Outside, the wind whispered against the house, brushing the eaves and rattling the loose shutters. The room seemed to breathe along with them, patient, waiting, quiet but not empty. He leaned back in the chair, eyes fixed on the fireplace, cold and dark. The baby rested against his shoulder, finally still. The woman sat across from them, silent. The house held its secrets, the shadows watching, letters untouched, photographs quiet. Outside, the night pressed close. Another knock came, soft, hesitant. He didn't move. The baby stirred slightly, then curled closer. The woman's hands tightened around her knees. It's coming, she said. Yes, he said, voice low, almost a whisper. The door remained closed. The night deepened, slow and thick, and the house listened. The baby slept lightly, safe against him. Shadows leaned closer. The fireplace held its cold promise. The woman watched, unsure if she should leave or stay. The cowboy's eyes never left the dark corners. The wind shifted again, carrying a quiet warning. The baby twitched in her sleep, murmuring softly. He adjusted her, holding her tighter. Silence settled, uneasy, ready. The house waited, the baby listened, and outside, someone knocked again, soft, deliberate, impatient, but this time, he didn't even flinch. The knock at the door came sharp, insistent, cutting through the quiet like a whip. The cowboy set the baby on the rug, her tiny hands clutching at his boots. He opened the door to find the sheriff standing there, tall, wide shoulders, eyes cold and hard. Evening, the sheriff said, voice flat. I've got some paperwork for the child. The cowboy didn't invite him in. I don't take visitors, he said. The sheriff stepped closer, sliding a thin envelope from his coat. This isn't a visit, he said. It's the law. The baby stirred behind him. He ignored it. Law, he asked. The law leaves children in barns? The sheriff's jaw tightened. You know the rules, he said. Rules don't fix everything. The cowboy didn't move. Her mother's gone, the sheriff said, soft now, almost regretful. She died last winter. The cowboy's eyes narrowed. Who told you that? The sheriff smirked. Everyone knows. Nobody talks, but it spreads. He held the envelope out. The name's here. Her name. You need to know it. The cowboy stepped aside to the porch. I don't need names. I need safety. The sheriff laughed, low and bitter. This land remembers, cowboy. Names, faces, bloodlines, they stick. The cowboy's hand tightened on the doorframe. I don't care what it remembers. The sheriff leaned closer, eyes dark. You should. Or it will come for you both. He tapped the envelope against his palm. The papers say you're not supposed to have her. The law says, I don't care what the law says, the cowboy interrupted, voice steady, flat. The baby looked up at him, blinking. He adjusted her on his hip. She stays here. The sheriff's smile faded. You think you can defy me, he said. I don't think, the cowboy said. I do. The wind shifted, rattling the loose shutters. The family left her to you, the sheriff pressed. No one left her, the cowboy said. I took her. You don't know what you're doing, the sheriff said. I know what I'm not doing, the cowboy answered. Not handing her back. The sheriff straightened, voice sharp. You don't get it. There's history. Secrets. She's part of it. You should know, I know she's alive, the cowboy said. That's enough. The sheriff scowled. This child's mother, gone under strange circumstances, he said. You're playing with fire. I've seen fire, the cowboy said. I'll handle it. The baby fussed again. He adjusted her, holding her closer, rocking slowly. You'll regret this, the sheriff said, stepping back. I don't regret keeping a child alive, the cowboy said. The sheriff's hand brushed the envelope again, reluctant. The land watches, he said. It waits. You can't hide from it. The cowboy tore the paper in half, letting the pieces fall to the dirt. The sheriff's eyes widened. You, I said, the cowboy interrupted, she stays. The baby yawned, curling into his chest. Silence stretched between them, tense, heavy. The sheriff ran a hand over his face. This isn't over, he said. It won't be. The cowboy nodded once, calm. I'll be ready. The sheriff lingered, eyes darting to the baby, then the house, then the road. He turned abruptly and walked away. The gravel crunched under his boots. He didn't look back. Inside, the cowboy closed the door and leaned against it, still holding the baby. She nuzzled into his shoulder, quiet now. He traced her fingers with his thumb. Letters on the table, photos on the wall, the cold fireplace, all watched silently. Outside, the wind carried the faint echo of boots fading. He whispered to the baby, they'll remember, but we'll keep moving. She blinked at him, small lips parting. He smiled once, tight and controlled, and adjusted the blanket around her. He walked slowly through the house, past the sealed windows, past the shadows that seemed to lean closer at the edges of the room. The envelope scraps lay on the floor, crumpled, forgotten. The baby's eyes closed. Her breathing evened. He sat in the old armchair, holding her against his chest. Outside, the night pressed against the house, wind rattling the loose shutters. He listened, waiting, knowing the sheriff would return in some form, that history was never gone, only patient. The baby slept lightly, finally at peace for now. He whispered, not today. Not tonight. The morning light crept through the slats of the old shutters, thin and gray. The baby stirred on the bedroll beside him, tiny hands clenching and unclenching. The cowboy rubbed his eyes, shifting the blanket around her, listening to the soft whimper that meant hunger. He filled a bottle, warmed it over the embers of the dying fire, and lifted her in one careful motion. She sucked, quieted, and finally closed her eyes. The moment passed, but the quiet didn't last. Out in the yard, a truck idled just beyond the fence. He heard it, faint at first, tires graveling against the dirt. He set the baby down and crept to the window. A man inside scanned the property, eyes sharp. The truck stayed longer than it should have. He caught his rifle from the corner, fingers tight around wood and metal. The baby yawned on the bedroll, sensing the tension, and started fussing. He shushed her, rocking her gently. Outside, the truck started moving, circled once, and left. The sound of the engine faded, but the unease remained. Later, the cowboy carried water from the well, careful not to spill the bucket. He hummed low, almost to himself. The baby crawled behind him, small steps, wobbling. A woman's voice called from the fence. Need help? He looked up, nodding once. She came over, coat damp, eyes wary. I saw the truck, she said. I can't stay long, but I'll watch. Not much you can do from here, he said. Just don't leave. She frowned. You're sharp, she said. You're not like the others. He tilted his head. Not like anyone. Inside, he fed the baby again, burping her, wiping her mouth. The smoke from the fireplace still smelled of last night, the coals cold, gray. He hummed, a low rhythm. The woman helped, fetching a clean blanket, brushing crumbs off the floor. She's aware, she said. Of everything. He nodded. She notices places more than people. She feels threats before they arrive. Outside, a fire burned where it shouldn't have, near the old barn, low flames licking dry grass. He cursed under his breath, grabbing a shovel. The woman followed. Who said it? She asked. Doesn't matter, he said. It's out now. The baby squirmed when he returned inside, sensing the tension. He knelt and picked her up, feeling the weight of her small body. Calm, he said. Safe. She blinked up at him, letting herself be soothed. The woman watched, lips pressed tight. You care for her well, she said. I'll protect her too, he said. But she's yours to hold. She shook her head. We all have a hand, whether we like it or not. He adjusted the blanket around the baby. I know. That's why I'm careful. Gunfire echoed in the distance, sudden and sharp. The baby's head jerked. He froze. It's nothing, he said, though his voice was hard, low. He listened. Silence. The woman grabbed his arm. You heard that, she said. Someone's testing you. He nodded, not afraid. Then they'll learn. The baby babbled softly, reaching for his face, sensing his calm. He bent over her, brushing her hair back. Nothing gets past us, he said. Outside, the sky shifted, gray clouds rolling in, the wind picking up. The day stretched long. He carried water, stacked wood, cleaned the floors. The baby crawled, explored, tugged at his pant legs. The woman stayed nearby, watching, hesitant. You trust her? She asked. He paused, adjusting the baby on his shoulder. I trust her to notice the right things. She frowned. Not people? People lie, he said. Places don't. The baby squealed softly, kicking her legs, then stopped, staring toward the door. He followed her gaze, hand tightening on the rifle by the bedroll. Another truck passed far down the dirt road. Nothing more. By evening, the fire in the barn had been doused, ashes cold. The woman left, shaking her head. Keep her close, she said. He nodded, carrying the baby to the bedroom. Always, he said. She glanced at the rifle, the walls, the letters stacked in the corner. You're ready, she said. We both are, he said. The baby yawned, curling into his chest. He hummed softly, a steady rhythm. Outside, the wind swept through the trees, rustling leaves like whispers. He listened, still, alert, but patient. A gunshot rang across the field. Sharp, violent. The baby stiffened against him. He froze, heart pounding, scanning the dark horizon. Nothing moved. He carried her back to the house, shutting the door. Safe, he said, whispering into her hair. The baby settled, tiny breaths even, eyes closed. Shadows stretched across the walls, moving with the firelight. The cowboy sat in the old armchair, holding her against his chest. Outside, the night pressed down. He tightened his hold and whispered, Nothing gets past us. Not now, not ever. The baby cried before dawn, sharp, urgent, like something unseen had touched her. The cowboy lifted her from the bedroll, rocking, whispering. She kicked, then stiffened, ears angled toward the yard. He followed her gaze and saw it, the sealed well behind the barn, lid weathered, moss along the edges, something beneath it waiting. He carried her outside, careful steps over the dew-slick grass, eyes scanning the shadows. Her cries cut through the still air, drawing him closer. He set her on the ground beside him, still crying, reaching for him. "Not alone," he said, crouching. "Not ever alone." He ran a hand along the lid of the well, fingernails catching on old wood. The baby stopped crying, leaning against him, curious. He pried the cover loose, the hinges stiff with rust. The dark inside smelled of damp earth, of something long buried. Bones, small and brittle, stacked carefully in a corner, a tattered badge atop them. Burned cloth, charred, curled along the stones. The air pressed in, thick with memory. The baby reached out a tiny hand. He touched hers. "See," he whispered. "It remembers. But we're here now." Her breathing slowed. He crouched, scanning the items, the badge, burned fabric, fragments of letters. A whisper of voices, old and bitter, seemed to slide from the walls of the well. He held her tighter, feeling the tremor of her small body. "Safe," he said. "We'll be safe." Outside, the wind shifted, rattling the barn, stirring dry leaves. He lifted the bones gently, setting them aside, then pulled the badge and burned cloth into a sack. She babbled softly, reaching for it. He shook his head. "Not yet," he said. "Not now." Her fingers curled around his coat, trusting. He looked down the length of his land. The horizon was gray, cold, stretching into something unbroken, silent. Sirens in the distance hummed faintly, rising over the wind. He tightened his grip. "They'll be here soon," he whispered. "Not yet." He carried her back inside, the sack clutched under one arm. She squirmed, pointing at the door, alert, attentive. "Not now," he said. "Wait." Inside, the house held its quiet like a shield. Letters unopened, photos dusty, the fireplace cold. The baby's small hand traced the wood grain of the floor. He knelt, brushing hair from her forehead. "Good girl," he said. Her breathing slowed further. Shadows leaned closer in the corners. He held her, listening. The sirens grew louder, closer, voices carrying over the field. He crossed to the window, peeking through the shutter slats. Nothing yet. Another cry escaped the baby, tiny and quick. He lifted her again, whispering, "Almost done. Almost safe." The weight of her small body grounded him, steadying him against the rising tension. The past pressed at the edges of the house, the well, the field. The badge in the sack was proof, evidence of long-buried violence. Footsteps approached outside, crunching on gravel. He crouched, rifle in hand, baby in the other arm, calm but ready. She reached for the rifle instinctively, small fingers brushing the wood. "It's not yours," he said. Her eyes met his. "Not yet." He peeked through the curtains. Sirens swelled, red lights flickering on the edge of the field. The baby babbled softly, then quieted, leaning into his chest. For the first time, he felt the weight of knowing the past would meet them, but they were ready. He whispered again, low and steady. "Nothing will touch you. Not now. Not ever." The sirens approached, voices calling names, questions shouted over radios. He moved toward the door, careful, deliberate, sack tucked against his side. The baby lifted her tiny hands, reaching for him. "Here," he said, adjusting her against his chest. She quieted, trusting. The air shifted, heavy with anticipation, but inside the house, inside the room, something had changed. The well had spoken, the past was out, and she stopped crying. He held her, rocking, waiting for the first knock. Outside, lights flickered over the field, sirens growing nearer. He whispered one more time. "Safe now. Safe for tonight." She nestled against him, warm, trusting, tiny breaths even. Shadows leaned closer, but they did not touch. The house listened, the well had told its story, and the past, for now, remained contained. He adjusted the blanket around her, gaze steady, eyes on the approaching threat. Sirens cut the silence, but the baby slept. Voices arrived first, faint and hurried, then full, overlapping, rushing into the house like a flood. Women from the town pressed through the door, eyes sharp, hands clutching coats and bundles. "We heard," one said. "We know," another added. They spilled into the room, not polite, not asking, not waiting for an invitation. The baby stirred against the cowboy's chest, sensing the weight of the crowd. He held her tighter, steadying her, listening as stories collided. "They took him," a woman said, voice shaking. "They took him and left nothing." Another said, "Not just him. Everyone." They spoke over one another. Disappeared. Threats. Burned houses. The cowboy moved to the edge of the circle, careful, eyes scanning, holding the baby close. "Slow," he said. "Start slow." The women didn't slow. They rattled names, dates, threats, all tangled with warnings, histories, disappearances. The baby babbled softly, reaching for him, tiny hands brushing his face. "You hear that?" he said. The women glanced at him, wide-eyed. "She listens," he said. "She knows." A woman with a long coat stepped forward. "We're done hiding," she said. "We won't." Others nodded, murmuring agreement, faces hard, eyes bright. "We stayed," one said. "We kept going," another said. "We saw what they did," another whispered. The cowboy moved slightly, adjusting the baby on his hip. "You all stayed," he said. "That matters." The women crowded closer, talking faster, louder, memories spilling over one another. "Threats," one repeated. "Disappearance," another said. "Names," a third said. The cowboy didn't interrupt. The baby reached for the letters stacked in the corner. He blocked her gently. "Not yet," he said. "Soon." Her eyes tracked the shadows, the corners of the room, the old photographs. "She knows them," he said softly. The women glanced down at the child, then back at him. "She does," one whispered. "Enough hiding," the cowboy said. "Enough waiting." The women's voices collided with his, then settled. "We'll stay," they said, almost together, almost as one. "We'll protect her," another said. "We'll remember," a third said. The baby's hands clenched his shirt. "We listen," he whispered. The room shifted, energy moving like a tide, old anger mixing with resolve. Outside, the wind pressed against the shutters, loose boards rattling. Inside, the house held them, tense and patient. They spoke faster now, almost in unison, stories blending, the sheriff, the barns, threats delivered by trucks at night, letters burned, names forgotten. "We won't let it go," one said. "We won't forget," another repeated. The cowboy nodded, slowly, quietly. "Good," he said. The baby yawned, small, curling into his chest. The women watched, expressions softening slightly. "We've stayed," one whispered again. "We see now," another said. The energy shifted from fear to resolve, small but solid. The cowboy adjusted the baby again, tucking her fingers under his shirt. "She's ours now," he said. "Together." The women murmured agreement, voices overlapping, strong. Together, they repeated. "She's ours." Outside, a crow cawed, long and sharp. The wind shook the shutters. The house seemed to lean in, listening, approving. The baby's tiny hand brushed the cowboy's cheek. "We've stayed," he said, soft, almost to himself. The women formed a loose circle around him and the baby, watching, waiting. "Decision," he said. "Now," one of them said. "Do it," another whispered. "All of us," a third said. They spoke together finally, voices low, deliberate, and almost one. "She stays." The cowboy nodded. The baby babbled softly, reaching up. He adjusted her again. "Good," he whispered. Silence followed, brief, heavy, full. The house seemed to exhale, shadows settling. Outside, the wind died down, leaving only the faint creak of boards. The women lingered, then started leaving quietly, some pausing at the door, some slipping out without a word. "We'll be back," one said. The cowboy didn't respond. The baby nestled against him, small and trusting. The house was still, quiet, heavy with their presence and words. Shadows leaned close, but they did not move. Outside, night pressed softly against the walls. The cowboy held her tighter, rocking gently. "We stayed," he whispered. "And now we protect." The sheriff's property lay ahead, dark and low, the porch light swinging in the wind. The cowboy rode up slowly, baby secured against his chest, rifle slung across his back. The air smelled of smoke and old wood, faint embers from a fire that had died weeks ago. The sheriff appeared on the porch, hands empty, eyes hard. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "You can't take her from me." The cowboy didn't answer. "She's mine by law," the sheriff said. "Law doesn't matter," the cowboy said, voice low, steady. The sheriff laughed, sharp and bitter. "You think you're the first to try? You think you can outlast me?" "I don't try," the cowboy said. "I act." The sheriff stepped down from the porch, boots scraping the gravel. "This land remembers everything," he said. "Every name. Every debt. You can't erase it." The cowboy shifted the baby slightly, adjusting her against his chest. "Doesn't need erasing," he said. "Just honesty." A woman appeared from the side, holding a lantern, eyes fierce. "Enough talk," she said. "We've stayed. We know." Another woman stepped out behind her. "We're not afraid." The sheriff's face hardened. "You think this changes anything?" The cowboy's voice cut through, calm and absolute. "It does. She stays." The sheriff's hands curled into fists. "You don't understand. Everything you hold is borrowed. The badge, the land, the child, it's all mine to control." "Not anymore," the cowboy said. The sheriff lunged, furious, but the women moved around him, forming a barrier, voices raised, shouting names, memories, accusations. "You burned barns," one yelled. "Threatened widows," another shouted. "Disappeared children," a third added. The sheriff staggered back, taken off balance by the weight of their words. He raised his hands, trying to silence them, but the crowd, small, determined, loud, pressed forward. The cowboy stepped close, shadow against the porch light. "It's over," he said. The sheriff's eyes flicked to the baby, small, steady, watching everything. The wind caught a piece of paper in the gravel. He kicked it toward the sheriff's boots. It was the burned letter, proof of threats, of old violence. The sheriff looked down, hand trembling, realizing the control he thought he had was gone. "You can't," he started, but his voice faltered. "Can't what?" the cowboy said. "Control?" The sheriff's knees bent slightly. Fire from the barn flickered, casting long shadows across the yard. The badge lay among the ashes, lost, powerless. The baby reached for the cowboy's face, tiny hands brushing his cheek. "Safe," he whispered. "Safe now." The sheriff fell to his knees, gaze downward, breath uneven, the weight of exposure and truth pressing hard. He tried." "No," the cowboy said. "It's done." The women stepped closer, forming a tight circle around the baby. "She stays," one said. Another nodded. "Always stays." The sheriff's eyes darted from them to the baby, then to the fading badge, and finally to the fire, realizing his authority had burned away along with the proof of his power. The barn's fire crackled, small sparks drifting into the night. Shadows stretched across the yard, long and quiet. The women whispered names, recounting wrongs, their voices merging into one steady hum of resolve. The cowboy adjusted the baby in his arms, leaning down slightly, murmuring softly. "No one comes back," he said. "Not tonight, not ever." The sheriff remained on his knees, silent now, watching, powerless, while the wind carried away the echoes of his threats. The baby yawned, tiny body curling into his chest, eyes half closed, trusting completely. He stepped away from the porch, holding her close, voice low and firm. "She's ours," he said. The women murmured in agreement. "Ours," they said, steady, strong. Outside, the night pressed in, cool and patient. The badge lay in the ash, blackened, useless. The fire sputtered, then died. The sheriff didn't move. The cowboy didn't need him to. He carried the baby toward the house, calm, deliberate. The women followed, circling, protective. The shadows leaned close but made no sound. The baby's breathing evened, small hands clutching his shirt. He whispered to her, "Safe now." Nothing more. The women nodded, understanding. Outside, the wind died down, leaving a heavy quiet. The sheriff stayed where he was, on his knees, a broken man facing the consequence of his own actions. Inside, the cowboy set the baby down gently. She babbled softly, content, eyes wide and bright. He adjusted the blanket around her. "We did it," he said softly. The women watched, expression softened, still fierce but relieved. Outside, the last sparks of the barn fire smoldered, black smoke rising into the night. The badge, powerless, lay among the ashes. The sheriff remained silent. The house, the night, the baby, they were safe. The cowboy sat beside her, arms steady, voice low. "Safe," he whispered again. The father stumbled back onto the dirt road, boots caked with mud, eyes glassy. His coat hung open, shirt torn, sleeves damp with sweat or rain or something he couldn't name. "Give her back," he slurred, voice cracked. "She's mine." The cowboy stepped out of the doorway, baby in arms, steady, calm. "She's not," he said. The father's jaw tightened. "I'm sober now," he said. "I can take care." "No," the cowboy interrupted. "You left her. That's enough." The father swayed, hands shaking. "I didn't." "You did," the cowboy said. "You left her in a barn with strangers. You think paying now changes that?" The man's eyes flicked toward the baby. She babbled softly, tiny fingers brushing the cowboy's face. "She doesn't even know you," the cowboy said. "She won't." I can fix it," the father said, panic rising. "Can't fix fear," the cowboy said. "Can't fix absence. Not now, not ever." The father fell to his knees, voice breaking. "I'm her father." "You were a man," the cowboy said. "Not a father." The father's hands dug into the dirt. "Please," he whispered. "I've changed." The cowboy's grip on the baby tightened slightly. "Change comes after care, not abandonment." The baby turned her head toward the father, tiny brows furrowed, a soft frown forming. She reached for the cowboy. The father's voice cracked. "I just want a chance." "No chance," the cowboy said. "You had one. You failed." The father sank further, tears rolling down his face. "She's all I have," he said, voice hoarse. The cowboy's eyes hardened. "She's all I have too," he said. The woman from town stepped forward, voice sharp. "You hurt her. You left her. Your excuses mean nothing." Another woman nodded, eyes cold. "Your chance ended when you walked away." The father looked between them, desperate, voice rising. "I didn't know." "You didn't care," the cowboy said. "You wanted the money. You wanted the show. You didn't want her." The father's knees shook. I thought you thought wrong," the cowboy said. The baby cooed softly, curling against his chest, refusing to look at the man. The father stumbled back, pressing his hands to his face. "I can be better," he said. "I can." "Too late," the cowboy said. "She chooses who holds her. You lost that right." Silence pressed down. The wind stirred the loose boards of the barn, rattling dry leaves across the yard. The baby's breathing was even, small, secure. The father looked down at her, then at the cowboy, realization settling too late. He whispered. "You're gone," the cowboy said. The father's shoulders sagged. He took a step, then another. "Wait," he said. The cowboy didn't move. "Don't." The baby reached for him instinctively. The father's knees buckled again. "I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. The cowboy's eyes softened, just slightly, but firm. "Sorry doesn't fix fear." Sorry doesn't fix absence. The father's lips trembled. She's safe? Yes, the cowboy said. Safe. Not yours. The father's head fell, defeated. He looked at the baby one last time. Her tiny hand brushed the cowboy's shirt, and she babbled softly. The father's throat worked. I failed, he said. I can't go home, the cowboy said. Leave her. The father stepped back, stumbling over gravel, arms hanging empty. He didn't speak again. He left down the dirt road, boots heavy, coat flapping, head down. The wind carried him, solitary, past the fields, past the fence, fading into nothing. The cowboy turned back to the house, baby secure against his chest. The women watched, quiet now, faces softening. She's ours, one said. The cowboy nodded. Safe now, he whispered. The baby yawned, curling into him, tiny hands clutching his shirt. Shadows leaned close, but no longer threatening. The land seemed to settle, silent approval in the air. The father was gone. The past was acknowledged, and the child's future was claimed. The baby stirred, tiny eyes blinking up at him. He adjusted her on his shoulder. Not sold again, he whispered, voice low and sure. The women nodded. The wind shifted, soft and patient, brushing the house, the yard, the old barn. The cowboy closed the door slowly, listening to the silence that followed, carrying her into the house, steady, calm, final. Outside, the dirt road lay empty. The father was gone. The night, finally, held peace. The house was quiet now, the baby asleep in the cowboy's arms, small chest rising and falling against his shirt. The fire on the hearth had died to embers, red and soft. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, gentle, patient, carrying away the last echoes of the past. The badge lay buried in the dirt beyond the well, ash covering its edges. The baby stirred once, small fingers curling against him, then relaxed. He carried her carefully to the edge of the yard, where the sealed well waited like a promise. The stones were stacked tight, wood secure, earth pressed down. He knelt beside it, brushing a hand over the surface. We close it for good, he whispered. The baby reached out, fingers grazing the lid, small eyes curious but calm. He adjusted her against his shoulder. Not sold again, he said softly. She babbled, tiny voice innocent, trusting. He nodded, feeling the weight of the words in the still air. A woman from the town appeared at the edge of the yard, lantern in hand. Names, she asked. He looked at her, then down at the baby. Names, he said, voice steady. Graves, she asked. He pointed to the old markers behind the house, small and weathered. Marked, he said. Remembered. The woman nodded, a quiet understanding in her eyes. The baby yawned, curling against his chest. He adjusted the blanket around her, fingers brushing her hair. The night pressed in, calm, listening. The women lingered briefly, speaking low, softly, almost together. She's ours, one whispered. Always ours, another added. The cowboy didn't answer, only nodded once, holding her steady. Shadows leaned close against the walls of the house, the edges of the yard, the silent fields beyond. Nothing stirred beyond the occasional creak of the wood, wind over stone. The past, heavy and patient, had been acknowledged and laid to rest. He walked slowly back to the porch, the baby cradled in his arms. We keep her safe, he said softly. No one takes her. Not now, not ever. She stirred, tiny fingers brushing his cheek. He smiled once, tight, sure. The women retreated into the night, leaving the house still and watchful. He closed the door behind them, careful, deliberate. The air inside smelled faintly of smoke, wood, and the baby's warmth. The walls held their quiet, no longer pressing, only steady, patient. He sat in the old armchair, baby curled against him. Outside, the wind shifted, ruffling the loose boards of the barn, stirring dry leaves. He whispered her name softly, letting it fill the room. She babbled in response, tiny voice curious, alive. He adjusted the blanket, holding her closer. The night stretched wide, heavy but calm. The house listened, the shadows leaned but did not touch. He felt the past settle into the soil, the embers cooling, the badge buried and powerless. The baby's breathing even completely, small hands clutching his shirt. He rocked her gently, slow, steady, voice low. "You're safe," he said. "All of you. All of us." Outside, the stars gleamed faintly over the yard, silent witnesses. The wind carried no threat, only quiet approval. He let himself relax slightly, feeling the weight of the night lift. The baby nestled into him, trust complete, tiny chest rising with each even breath. He glanced at the fireplace, cold and still, letters stacked untouched in the corner. The walls, photographs, and shadows all seemed to settle, patient, quiet, finally at rest. He whispered her name once more, soft, deliberate. Outside, the dirt road lay empty, the land undisturbed. He rocked her slowly, the steady rhythm of his arms a shield against everything that had come before. The past was sealed, the future held, and the night finally felt earned. The cowboy leaned back, the baby asleep against him, warm and small. Fire out, badge buried, graves marked, names spoken. Silence filled the house, steady, patient, complete. He whispered once, to no one and everyone, safe. Finally safe. Outside, the wind stilled, the yard calm, the shadows no longer pressing. Inside, the baby slept, the house listened, and the cowboy finally let himself breathe, guardian, steady, whole.